Good morning. I'd like to call the Legislation Committee to order. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Kennedy. Alderman Boyd.
Present.
Alderman Howard. Or Alderwoman Howard. Alderman Arnowitz. Alderwoman Hubbard. Alderwoman Murphy.
Here.
Alderman Ogilvy.
Here.
Alderwoman Navarro.
Navarro.
Yep, present.
She went to sleep for a minute.
Alderwoman Middlebrook.
Present.
President Reed.
Here. Okay,
You have a
Alderman Spencer, you're recognized on Board Bill 243.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So Board Bill 243 is a fairly simple bill. I guess I can go up here.
Please.
You guys can approve this.
Okay. Board Bill 243 is,
Let me pause for a second. Mr. President, are you okay with previous?
Yeah, I'm 100%.
Okay.
And I'll call.
Wait a minute.
we have to take a,
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move that we place Board Bill 243 committee substitute before us for discussion.
Second?
Second.
Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Alderman Kennedy. Alderman Boyd.
Aye.
Alderwoman Howard. Alderman Arnowitz. Alderwoman Hubbard. Alderwoman Murphy.
Here, aye. I'm already here.
Alderman Ogilvy.
Aye.
Alderwoman Navarro.
aye.
Alderwoman Middlebrook.
Aye.
Alderman Vaccaro. President Reed.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. That would have been a mess up there.
Okay, Alderman Spencer, you're recognized to discuss Board Bill 243 committee substitute.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Board Bill 243 is a pretty simple bill. It's basically an issue of good governance. So this is providing that our city departments post online notices of meetings. Right now, under our Missouri state statute, which governs sunshine law, departments have to post meeting notices, but they don't have to post them online. So you often see pieces of paper sort of taped to department doors around City Hall, and that's the notification. And while that works for people that kind of work in City Hall, it's not exactly good for the general public to have to come down here to find out when a Board of Public Service meeting is or that sort of thing. Some departments do choose to post online. They have the capacity now through a portal to just upload their meeting notices to the online calendar. But this really ensures that they do that. This is also in line with the mayor's executive order number 60, which she issued last week. This just puts that in ordinance form, which I think is good because, as we know, executive orders can be issued, they can be pulled. Following administration may decide that this isn't what they want to do, and this just kind of codifies that as well. I've got a committee substitute that I'd like to introduce, which is also
We already
fairly.
did that.
Or that I've.
It's before us.
Okay, excuse me. So the committee substitute, what it does is it just adds the time and date stamp to the notifications on the online calendar. And the reason I think this is important, following the mayor's executive order, there's been some good, positive public feedback directed at me, some of which has pointed out that the meeting notifications have not been 24 hours in advance, but there's no way really to kind of make sure that that's the case. Our city website used to have an online calendar that had a simple time and date stamp associated with each of those postings. I think it's just a good matter of practice just to put that little, I think it's a matter of turning that setting back on in the IT department. And this will help engender trust between the public and making sure that this is being done at the right time. So it should be really no big deal.
I have one question, then the committee can ask questions.
Sure.
Did the mayor's executive order only cover departments underneath the mayor, and the intent of this ordinance is to cover every possible city department?
So I'd have to read the language of the mayor's executive order. Perhaps her representative could speak on behalf of that. It's my understanding that the mayor's executive order does cover all the departments under
Her authority.
her authority. And this covers all city departments. So there are some which are not covered in the mayor's executive order, but are covered here.
Okay. Okay, questions from the committee? Alderman Boyd.
No, I think this is great. I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor.
Okay. Alderwoman Murphy.
No, I think it's good. I would also like to be added as a co-sponsor. Now, we have time and date. Do we need to specify place, like a room, or they'll come down and just wander around until they find it?
So the meeting notification requires that they post the time,
Just
date,
time
and the
and date.
location. What this little committee substitute does is when the department posts online, there will be a time and date stamp as far as that posting goes, and that way the general public knows that it does follow sunshine law and was
Right.
posted 24 hours in advance.
Okay.
So it's not the time or date of the meeting, it's the time and date that that notification was posted.
Okay, there you go. Thank you.
Alderwoman Navarro.
Thank you. Yeah, I think this is also a great bill. I would also like to be added as a co-sponsor. I was wondering if you considered adding potentially links to the board bills that are to be considered, for example, because it seems like there's a lot more that we could be providing to the public. That would be relatively easy, and I don't know if the board bill is the appropriate place to put that, but I didn't know if that was something that you considered.
So that would be a little bit different than this, simply because right now, this is specifically pertaining to departments that aren't posting their meeting notices, that don't have board bills. I think the Board of Aldermen actually does a pretty good job of posting meeting notices, but I agree, those notifications could be enhanced specific to the Board of Aldermen. Those notifications which would link to board bills would be specific to this body. And I think we could improve that. This is just sort of a general, when the, every
Yeah,
department
well,
has a.
right.
And it seems to be clarifying, what do we mean by posting of public meetings, that it needs to go on.
Yes, it also kind of, and I'll have to check, the city website doesn't have a link on their homepage to the calendar, at least to my understanding. I will have to go back and look at that, but that way when the general public can kind of easily find the sort of calendar where all public notifications are in one big.
Yeah, I think it's great, so thank you. No further questions.
But I'd be happy to work on some, or
Well, yeah,
support
that's something
something
we
that.
probably do
It doesn't specify.
in another.
I think we might also be able to handle that internally with our board staff, who kind of uploads that.
Okay, Alderwoman Middlebrook. Any questions?
No questions.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion that we pass Board Bill 243, committee substitute with a D-pass recommendation.
Second. Previous roll.
There's been a request for previous roll. Any objections? Hearing no objections, Board Bill 243, committee substitute passes. And I'm going to adjourn the legislation committee.
Very good.
Thank you, everyone.